Okay, so imagine this scenario. It's what, 2 a.m., the house is dead quiet, the lights are out, and you are just staring at the ceiling.
Yeah.
Your eyes are wide open, your heart's beating a little too fast, and your brain is running an absolute marathon.
I think everyone listening just felt a little shiver. I mean, we've all been there. It's that universal human experience, right? The night watch.
Right. You're replaying some conversation from 3 days ago,
Yeah.
agonizing over one specific sentence.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're paralyzed by an email you haven't sent or some big life decision you've been putting off for months. And the internal monologue is always the same. I'm just thinking it through.
I'm being careful. I'm being responsible.
Exactly. You tell yourself you're doing the work.
But that right there, that's the trap. It's a disguise. We convince ourselves that worry is work.
And that's what we are tearing apart today. We're looking at this really bold claim that says that state you're in at 2:00 a.m. That is not intelligence. It's not planned.
It's a mental prison.
It's a mental prison. And here's the kicker. While you are lying there, analyzing every possible catastrophe, someone else, maybe someone less smart, less prepared, even a little reckless, is already out there taking action.
They're moving ahead.
They're moving ahead simply because they aren't stuck in that loop.
It's such a harsh truth, isn't it? The idea that your ability to think deeply, which we usually see as a superpower, can actually become your biggest roadblock.
It's like having a Ferrari engine, but keeping the parking brake permanently on.
Good analogy.
So that is our mission for this deep dive. We are going to unpack why our brains do this, why we trap ourselves, and more importantly, we're going to hand over a system to break free.
And just to be clear, it's not about just think positive.
No, not at all. It's about cutting the loop at the root.
It requires some, fundamental behavioral changes. It's not magic, it's mechanics.
Exactly. And speaking of taking action, we're trying to build a community here of people who are ready to get out of their own heads. So, if that sounds like you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Don't think about it.
Don't analyze it, don't weigh the pros and cons, just click it. Consider it your first tiny action step for today.
I like that. A micro commitment.
So let's get into the why, because on the surface, it feels so counterintuitive. If overthinking makes us miserable and anxious and stuck, why on earth are we wired to do it?
Right, why hasn't evolution filtered this out? If nature is so smart, why did it give us a brain that keeps us up worrying about the tone of a Slack message?
Exactly. Is it just a glitch?
Well, it's an evolutionary feature that has become a bug. It's a classic case of old software running in a completely new world.
Okay, so paint that picture for us.
Okay, picture this. You're on the savannah, maybe tens of thousands of years ago. You hear a rustle in the bushes.
Right.
In that environment, the cost of being wrong is, well, it's death. So if you pause to analyze, is that a lion? Is that a snake? That hypervigilance saves your life.
So the brain learned a very simple lesson.
A very simple lesson. Potential danger means stop, freeze, and analyze.
It's better to see a tiger where there isn't one than to miss the one that's actually there.
Precisely. We call that a type 1 error preference. False positives kept us alive. The problem is your brain hasn't really had a firmware update in about 50,000 years.
So it treats an awkward email with the same severity as a predator.
Exactly. It treats that, or a fear of public speaking, or a career change, with the same neurochemical response. The brain doesn't distinguish.
So we're basically running Windows 95 in a world of 5G.
Essentially, yeah. Your amygdala, your fear center, it just screams danger and demands you solve the problem before you move. But you can't solve the uncertainty of an email the way you solve a tiger.
You can't run from it.
Can't run from it, so you just spin. You get stuck in that loop.
That creates such a massive mismatch. We're using a life or death survival tool to handle everyday modern stress.
And that's why it feels so physical. When you're overthinking, your heart races, your palms get sweaty, your stomach turns. Your body is literally mobilizing cortisol for a fight that isn't actually happening.
Man, that is so relatable. I think if you've ever felt like a text message was a saber-toothed tiger, you should probably go ahead and hit that like button.
I think we all know someone who does that.
But this leads to the next big insight. We think that by overthinking, we're predicting the future to keep ourselves safe. We think we're running simulations.
But we aren't. We're just draining the battery. There's a paradox here. The brain isn't really designed to predict complex, modern futures. It's designed to react to the present.
So when we force it to predict every outcome,
you're just draining a very limited resource at your decision energy.
I love the analogy you mentioned before we started about the open browser tabs. That really clicked for me.
Yeah, decision fatigue. Think about your computer. Every tab you open and don't close, it's using a tiny bit of RAM. You might not be looking at it, but it's running.
In the background.
Right. Now imagine you have 50 of those tabs open. What to have for dinner, that awkward conversation, the project due next week. It just slows down the whole system.
And eventually you get the spinning wheel of death. You crash.
You crash. You reach a point where you can't even decide what to watch on a streaming service because your processing power is at zero.
Oh, I've done that.
Yeah.
You just scroll for 40 minutes and then give up and go to sleep.
Guilty.
So here's something I found really counterintuitive. You'd think that smarter people would be better at handling this, right?
Yeah.
More RAM, so to speak. But the research points the other way.
It's the smart trap. High intelligence can actually be a risk factor for overthinking.
How so?
Because a high-functioning brain is better at generating scenarios. If you're smart, you can visualize 50 different ways a project could fail. Someone with less processing power might only see 2 or 3.
So your intelligence just gives you more data to worry about. You're building a higher resolution nightmare for yourself.
You are. And because you're smart, you tell yourself, I can solve this if I just think a little longer. You wait for that perfect choice. But deeper analysis often leads to paralysis.
So we fail not because we make the wrong choice.
But because we make no choice at all.
Let's talk about the cost of that. Because while we are sitting there frozen, waiting for perfection, we're paying a huge price.
Oh, the costs are silent, but they're massive. First, there's the obvious cost of time. And we're not talking minutes. We're talking cumulative hours, days, lost to loops that give you zero new information.
You're not analyzing, you're just ruminating.
Exactly, you're just recycling the same fears over and over.
It's like revving a car in neutral. You're burning gas, making a ton of noise, but you're not going anywhere.
And then there's opportunity cost. Opportunities have expiration dates, you know? They don't wait for you to be 100% ready. In this economy, the prize often goes to the fast, not the perfect.
If you wait until you're 100% sure, you're probably already too late.
You are. But I think the one that hits hardest for a lot of people is the psychological cost, the impact on your self-trust.
Yeah, this is profound.
Every single time you hesitate, every time you delay a decision out of fear, you're sending a signal to your brain. You're teaching it, I don't trust myself. I am not capable of handling this.
So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It does. You overthink because you lack confidence, and then
Right.
you lack confidence because you overthink. You're effectively training yourself to be afraid of your own agency.
And don't forget creativity. Overthinking just kills that messy phase you need for innovation. If you're editing ideas before they even hit the paper, you just end up with nothing.
You end up with a life that is technically very safe, but also very, very small. And deep down, there's this dull ache of regret. Not the sharp pain of failure that heals, but the lingering regret of never having tried.
I want to pause here and just ask everyone listening. If you recognize these costs in your own life, leave a comment down below. Which one hits the hardest for you? Lost time, missed opportunities, or that slow erosion of self-trust? I read all the comments, so I'd love to see what resonates.
Recognizing the cost is a huge first step. But we need to pivot to the solution. Because usually when people realize they're overthinking, what's the first thing they do?
They try to think their way out of it.
Right.
They start analyzing why they're analyzing.
Which is just adding another browser tab. Why am I like this? What does this say about my childhood? It just compounds the problem.
So what's the real solution?
The core solution is simple, but it's radical. Action creates clarity. Thinking creates fear.
Okay, let's unpack that.
Yeah.
Why does action beat thinking? I mean, isn't it reckless to just act without thinking?
Not if you understand how the brain learns, and this is crucial. The brain learns from experience, not from theory.
No.
If you sit on the couch and worry about a social event, your brain assumes the threat is real because you weren't moving. It thinks, we're frozen, there must be a predator nearby.
So by doing nothing, you're actually reinforcing the neural pathway of fear.
Yes, you are validating the anxiety. But if you act even clumsily, even imperfectly, and you survive, your brain updates its safety map. It goes, oh wait, we sent that email and the world didn't end. Okay, that wasn't a tiger.
You can't convince your brain with logic. You have to show it with evidence.
That's it. Action is the evidence. It reconnects you to reality. Overthinking disconnects you from your intuition. You stop knowing what you want and only know what you fear. Action uncorks it.
So let's get tactical. We know we need to act, but if you're paralyzed, how do you actually start moving? We need a toolkit.
We do. And the first tool is micro actions. You don't need a giant leap, you just need a twitch. The advice is to make decisions that are, and this is key, small enough, fast enough, and safe enough.
And literally just moving your body, right? I read that the body is the off switch for the mind.
Yes, this is pure biology. When that what-if loop starts spinning, change your physiology. Stand up, walk around the room, do 5 push-ups, do the dishes.
That breaks the trance.
It breaks the trance. It forces your brain to shift processing power from that internal loop to external navigation.
I also love the framework for classifying decisions. This is something I think Amazon calls one-way versus two-way doors.
This is a game changer. A two-way door decision is reversible. If you pick a bad restaurant, you just eat somewhere else next time. You can walk back through the door.
But we treat them like one-way doors.
We treat them like they're permanent life sentences. We treat ordering dinner like we're buying a house.
And that causes total paralysis.
Exactly. So the rule is, if it's reversible, decide fast. Decide in minutes, not days. And accept good enough.
Ah, perfectionism.
Perfectionism is just fear in a fancy suit. Aim for good enough to keep momentum. The cost of being wrong is low, so the speed of decision should be high.
Okay, then there's the information diet.
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely guilty of this one. We think we need more research before we can start.
I just need to read one more article, or I need to listen to one more deep dive.
Uh-oh.
Hey, it's fine if it leads to action, but the rule here is information is only useful if it changes your choice. Otherwise, it's just noise.
Wow. Say that again.
Information is only useful if it changes your choice. Otherwise, it's just noise. If reading another article won't fundamentally change your direction, stop reading. You're just procrastinating.
That is such a solid rule. Hey, if you know someone who suffers from analysis paralysis, maybe a friend who can't pick a vacation spot, share this deep dive with them. Send them the link right now. It might be the little nudge they need.
Now, let's talk long-term, because decision-making is a muscle.
And for overthinkers, that muscle has atrophied. It's weak.
It's weak from lack of use, so you need to go to the decision gym. You start with low-stakes weights, pick your meal in under 30 seconds, pick an outfit in under a minute.
Pick a movie without watching 6 different trailers.
That last one is actually terrifyingly hard for some people, but the key here is don't look back. Decide and don't revisit. Even if the movie sucks, you accept it and move on.
You're training your brain that fast decision equals safety.
You're building your tolerance for imperfection.
But what about when the big wave hits? The emergency protocol for a major overthinking attack.
Right, when you really are spiraling. There's a 3-step process. Step 1, recognize it early. Catch that physical tension we talked about. Don't let it go on for hours.
And step 2,
set a timer. This is brilliant. It's called worry time. Give yourself permission to worry, but put a container around it. Say, I will freak out about this for 10 minutes, get it all out on paper. But when the timer rings, you stop.
You're not suppressing it, you're just scheduling it. Like that. And the 3rd step,
shrink the question. Overthinkers ask these massive questions like, what do I do with my life? The brain just freezes.
it's like trying to swallow a watermelon whole.
Exactly. Instead, ask, what is one small thing I can do in the next hour? You can solve the next hour. You can't solve your whole life in one sitting.
Speaking of solving things in the moment, here is a small decision you can make right now. Subscribe to the channel. It's a micro action. It's a commitment to your own growth. Train that decision muscle. See? Easy.
It really is about redefining how we see confidence. We usually think confidence means knowing for sure that we'll succeed.
I'm confident this will work out.
Exactly. But true confidence isn't knowing you'll succeed. It's knowing you can handle it if you fail.
Whoa. Let that sink in for a second. It's knowing you'll be okay even if it all goes wrong.
That just removes the pressure of perfection. If you separate your self-worth from the outcome, a bad result is just data. It doesn't mean you are bad, it just means that specific approach didn't work.
It changes the story from I am a failure to this was a failed experiment.
And that leads to the final big concept, which is uncertainty. We try so hard to eliminate it. We want a map of the whole journey before we take a single step.
Which is impossible.
It's totally impossible. Uncertainty is the background noise of life. The goal isn't to eliminate it, it's to move through it. Use anchors in the present, your routines, small tasks to steady yourself rather than trying to map the whole future.
You don't need to see the whole path, you just need to see the next step.
It's like driving at night. Your headlights only show you maybe 200 feet ahead, but you can drive across the entire country that way.
The path reveals itself as you walk it, not while you're sitting at home studying the map.
Precisely. You have to trust that you have the resources to handle whatever comes up when it comes up.
Okay, so let's bring this all home. To recap our deep dive, overthinking is not a sign that you're smart or careful. It's an outdated survival mechanism that's just misfiring in the modern world.
It drains your energy, kills your confidence, and it steals your time.
And the way out isn't to think more. It's to act small. It's to accept good enough.
It's about understanding that action is what generates the data you need to stop being so afraid.
We break the loop by making reversible decisions fast, by going on an information diet, and by realizing that the discomfort of uncertainty is just the price of admission for a life well lived.
I want to leave everyone with one final thought. We're often afraid of the pain of failure, but there are two types of pain in life. The regret of doing something and failing is sharp. It hurts, but it heals pretty quickly and you learn something. But the regret of never doing anything, that's a dull ache that can last forever. It never heals because you never gave it a chance to.
That is powerful. Which pain would you rather choose? The sharp scratch of growth or the dull ache of stagnation?
That's the ultimate choice, really.
All right, we are signing off, but we want to see you take action. Don't just close this app and go back to thinking. Make one small decision right now.
Right now.
Maybe that decision is to subscribe. Maybe it's to leave a comment below telling us one specific action you are going to take today. Not tomorrow, today.
Don't overthink it, just do it.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you in the next one.